You clicked on this video because you want to improve at Rocket League, but I'm here to tell you that there are a lot of lies being told everywhere on the internet about how to actually improve in Rocket League. So in this video, I'm going to be debunking some of the biggest lies that I've seen about Rocket League improvement and tell you the actual uncomfortable truth instead. So let's get right into the video. Lie number one, and this is probably one of the most common ones that I hear all the time, which is just, you just need more hours. I just need more hours. And the thing is, like, people love to say, oh, just play more and you'll just improve. Like, I'd be looking at a stream that has like 50 viewers on it, and some guy comes in and he says like, I'm Diamond, how do I get better mechanics? And the guy literally just replies, yeah, just play the game more. Just play more. And it's like, I understand the only reason they're giving that answer because they don't actually want to give a detailed correct answer. Because if hours alone, right, if hours alone were enough, then there wouldn't be players with 5,000 hours, 10,000 hours stuck in Diamond or Champ or Plat. I had a comment the other day that I have a guy who watched my video who's hard stuck Plat with 16,000 hours. So if that's not proof that more hours will make you better at the game, then I don't know what is, right? Because the truth is that mindless hours will not make you improve. You don't magically improve at the game just because the clock is ticking, right? If you play the same way in every single game that you play, you keep making the same mistakes, you keep avoiding your mistakes, you keep not fixing them, and you keep kind of reinforcing your bad habits, then guess what? You're never going to improve. I've seen players out there who play like 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and they barely improve. While on the other hand, there's people out there right now who are playing maybe an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours of focused gameplay every single day, and they're climbing entire ranks. So the difference isn't in the time that they're putting in, but it's the intention of their time. So if your sessions don't have a focus, a goal, or at least some sort of awareness to what you're actually doing, what you're working on, then more hours just means more of the same bullshit that you're already doing. So the fix to this lie is instead, I want you to start prioritizing your hours in a logical way. Don't just play the game mindlessly. Think every single day when you're getting on the game. Think about, what am I doing better today? What mistake am I maybe fixing? What new thing am I working on? What mechanic am I training? Stuff like that is going to be what separates you from most players and what will actually make you rank up rather than just playing more hours mindlessly. Lie number two is that mechanics aren't that important. And this one usually comes from two types of people. Firstly, are the people who are mechanically challenged, right? Who are really bad mechanically. And they'll say stuff like, you don't need mechanics, man. You just need good rotations, good game sense, and good decision making. And it's basically just an easy way to cope, right? Because they're bad at something, aka mechanics. So then they just say what is called the sour grapes argument, where you basically just say, nah, I didn't even want to be good at that thing, because that thing's not that useful anyway. If you say that mechanics aren't useful for you, then you having bad mechanics no longer seems that big of a deal, right? But if mechanics are like the most important part of the game, and you have bad mechanics, then oh, that's very bad, very painful, boo-boo, right? Or, people are in the second group, which are players who are actually really mechanically dominant, and are super, super strong mechanically, to the point where they don't even notice that that's their strength. So instead, they think that game sense or whatever else is the most important part of the game purely because it's what they lack. So then they are only aware of their own shortcomings and kind of weaknesses rather than the general play base. Now, I'm not telling you that other things are not important, and I'm not telling you mechanics are everything, because they're obviously not. If you have a single brain cell, you will understand that every single game has a combination of the mechanics in the game and game sense. You can never get to the highest levels of the game without one of them. You obviously need a balance of both. But in a game like Rocket League, mechanics are, in my opinion, by far the most important. Because the thing is, mechanics facilitate all game sense. If you have the best game sense in the world, You know what the play is, right? You know what the best play in a situation is, but you can never make that play because you don't have the mechanics to do so. Whereas, if you have great mechanics, you will be able to know, you'll be knowledgeable on what you and other players can do with the ball. Meaning that you will naturally develop better game sense because you will realize what is possible and you'll then know what the play is as well. And what is a big factor as well is that game sense is theoretical. You can improve game sense by watching a better player than you. You can improve game sense by just thinking about the game, thinking about how you should be rotating, analyzing decisions. You can do that. You can never get better at mechanics by thinking about them. I could imagine myself doing flip resets in free play for 10 hours straight, but if I don't do it actually in the game and I just imagine it in my head, I'm never going to get better mechanics. Which is why most of your hours that you spend inside the game should be spent on working on your mechanics. Now, lie number 3 is that I'm stuck because of my teammates. This is one of the dumbest lies that I've ever actually heard anyone say. So, that's why we need to talk about it. If your default reaction after losing a game is that, oh, my teammate's sold, oh, my teammate is bad, oh, my teammates are boosted, oh, I'm just so unlucky, why do I always get the worst teammates, or whatever other version of that same kind of thing, you are single-handedly guaranteeing that you never improve at the game. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying teammates never make mistakes. Of course they do. But guess who also makes mistakes? You. Shocker, right? So improvement comes from asking one simple question. What could I have done better? So even in games where your teammate is an absolute donkey who does absolutely nothing, there's still, always, something that you could have done better. A challenge that you had that was pretty poor. A moment where you should have fake challenged instead of actually going. A shot that you missed barely into the post. Whatever it might be. There's always something that you can look at on every single play where you did something wrong. And now there's gonna be people in the comments who are like, no, but I actually am stuck because of my teammates. Because whenever I play with my friend who's higher ranked, we win. But when I solo queue, I have the stupid teammates who troll my games. Bro, like genuinely. If you're one of these people who has ever commented anything like this, please stop. Please genuinely just stop. I love reading comments, and whenever I read comments like this, they just piss me off, bro. It's peak rage bait. Because if you're trying to improve, if you're watching my videos, which means that you want to improve, please, for the love of everything that exists, stop blaming your teammates and take accountability. Because the players who rank up the fastest and improve the fastest are always the players who are obsessively self-critical. They're not toxic, they're not like filled with self-hatred, but they're just honest people. And they're always going to tell themselves that it was their fault when it actually is. So, the people who say, but what if my teammate is this, blah blah blah, those are the people who never rank up. But the people who say, oh, I did this wrong, how can I do better next time, almost always do rank up. And that difference right there is everything. The next lie is that game sense just comes over time and you can't work on it. And this is actually super common, and I hear it all the time, not just in Rocket League, but all games for some reason. And it's that people understand that mechanics need deliberate practice, right? You need to do free play, you need to do training packs, workshop maps, whatever you like, right? But for some reason, most people seem to think that game sense is somehow different. Like it just magically downloads into your brain after you just play the game. And this is kind of similar to the point that I said earlier about not just, putting in more hours, but it's different in the sense that as a complete beginner, this is true, right? Game sense does come over time if you're brand new to the game because it simply just teaches you the basics. But once you hit those mid ranks, about plat, diamond, and of course everything above that, this completely stops being true. At that point, just playing more games will not build your game sense whatsoever, but instead it'll just reinforces your decisions that you're already making, right? So if your positioning is bad, you get better at bad positioning. And if your rotations are off, you just keep doing those bad rotations. But real game sense actually improves when you actively think about a play, why it didn't work, or why it did work, when you actually review your replays and you understand what mistakes you are making and then fix them. These are things that you must do in order to improve your game sense. If game sense just truly came naturally over time, then no player would ever plateau in terms of game sense. But they do, constantly. Now the next one is that demos and bumps are unfair or scummy or whatever word you want to use there. And this one actually just grinds my gears, because there are genuinely players out there who believe that demos and bumps are unfair or unskilled or bad sportsmanship or whatever. And that mindset alone is one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard in my entire life, right? Rocket League, like any physical sport in real life, has physical play to it, and it has evolved. And whether you like it or not, the game is moving into a deeper bump and demo heavy meta. Demos are not random, bumps are not lucky, and they're not cheap. Knowing when to go for a bump, how to go for the bump, who to go for the bump on, and how to path correctly for bumps. These are all real skills, and a well-timed bump or demo can genuinely just break a defensive structure. It can eliminate a person from the play. It can force players to panic and backflip or jump or have to brake check you, and it often creates free goals. So if you refuse to use this tool because you think it is scummy, then you're just playing with one hand tied behind your back for no reason. So improvement and winning games is not about playing quote unquote like nice Rocket League or something, but it's about playing the most effective and efficient way. So go for more demos and bumps in your games. And the last lie is something that I like to call, it worked, so it must be good. And I'm going to explain this lie with something that I tell my coaching clients all the time. I would much rather, right? I would much rather you make a good decision that doesn't end up working out than make a bad decision and get rewarded for it. Because when a bad play works once, right, your brain will often label it as a good play. And now you've just reinforced a habit that will fail the next 9 out of those 10 times. Maybe the opponent whiffed. Maybe you just got a really lucky bounce. Maybe whatever, right? But luck isn't a strategy. On the flip side, good habits sometimes will fail, right? You'll position correctly, but then your teammate will just miss the ball and then they'll just clear it into your net. It happens. Sometimes things will happen that are out of your control largely, and judging your improvement purely by the outcomes of those plays will make you just reinforce your bad habits, kill your good habits, and stay inconsistent forever. So the players at the highest level always judge plays by decision quality, not just the short-term results. Which is why I'll often, again, to my coaching clients, I'll just say, this was a good play. I like that you did this. I like that you tried this. It didn't work out, but the idea is good, right? Because what Rocket League is at the end of the day is good ideas with good execution. If you have a bad idea but the execution is really good, yeah, it'll sometimes work, but not consistently. So what you want to consistently do is have good ideas on what to do, and then, improve your execution so then you can do these good ideas consistently. So if you want more personalized one-on-one help with this type of stuff, I am a coach on Metafy, where I'll break down your replays, show you exactly what you're doing wrong, and most importantly, give you clear and simple fixes so you stop repeating the same mistakes every game. So if you enjoyed this video and you like how I explain things, check out the first link in the description for my coaching. Thank you guys for watching, good luck in your games, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.